Oh, students, the first and major concept of this week is globalization. This is very common term, and we have been using this term in our regular day-to-day life. Technically, globalization refers to the gradual integration and growing interdependence of national economies. It is it is quite simple in today's world, like the current situation of COVID-19. How it spread across the globe, and that is a perfect example of globalization. And you are coming from your home country and studying here in Australia is one of the most easy and most understandable example of globalization. Now, how we reach to this current scenario of the globalization? There are certain but really notable drivers, very much important. Firstly, is a reduction in trade barriers, international trade barriers. Means, reduction in tariffs and import duties on the medical equipments and other products have declined, and for some of the product is almost zero. For example, COVID vaccine. For importing COVID vaccine, that host country or importer country has almost zero import duty or a tariff. We are looking at current world is divided into certain blocks, like G20 countries, NAFTA, which is North American bloc, SAARC, which is South Asian bloc, or Asiana, which is Australia, New Zealand, and other East Asian countries bloc. Apart from that, Chinese big initiative of One Belt One Road initiative. So and so forth. African countries are having their own trading bloc. So the number of countries have come together, made one bloc, and for the mutual advantage. If you want to see the most beneficiary of the globalization, the example, let's say Singapore. What was Singapore in 1970, and what Singapore is now is altogether different. There's a big role that Singapore, the globalization has played in Singapore's economy. Secondly, market liberalization and adoption of the free market. Well, the market is getting liberalized. The economies and the people of the different countries, they are realizing that there is no point of having closed door and self-consumption. It is in this world, if you want to grow, if you want to, whether it is individual or a economy want to grow, they have to make a free market economy. Privatization of previously state-owned industries in the developing economies has encouraged economic efficiency and attracted massive foreign capital to their national economies. Thirdly, industrialization, economic development, and modernization. Now, we are shifting directly. What I feel that we are shifting, whether directly or indirectly, towards standardization. Today, I'm wearing this T-shirt. Probably someone from South American continent would like to wear the same T-shirt, or from America would like to say, or Asia, or Africa. The situation was not there like 50, 60 years back. Some people were having the traditional clothes, and I'm not saying that it is not right now. We have the traditional wardrobe, but we have one standardized wardrobe which is acceptable worldwide. Okay, let us take example of mobile phones. Now, Apple, American company, production unit in China, and making mobiles, which has been used by almost all countries of the world. So the thing is that They don't have, you know, the standardized mobile for Australia. This is this mobile, and for India, this is this mobile. For America, this is this is this version of mobile. No, and the product is standard and which has been sold to across the globe. So in same case of any electronics item or any usable items, or in cosmetics and medicine, little variance will be there, but more or less it is getting standardized, modernized, and has played huge role in economic development of the economy. Then the fourthly, another major driver is integration of the financial market. Now, in today's world, it is easy for entrepreneurs to get finance from even cross-border. Eurobond is a good example. The Eurobond means a country, the company from country A is collecting debt from country B to have a business worldwide, or a country C. Now, the process of raising fund into the another country, the debt fund into the another country is called a familiar term, Eurobond. So it is like, it's not necessary from the European company, but that is if Australian company is raising fund in some Asian from the Asian country to do the business in New Zealand, is also called Eurobond. So the financial market is getting integrated. Sitting in Australia, I love to invest in Dow Jones, the American stock exchange market. All right, and this is feasible in current scenario. So the most important, one of the most important factor in the current globalization situation is integration of the financial market. And lastly, but not least, and most influential factor is the technological advances. Like now, the way technology is getting integrated in the business, into the functions of the niche functions of the business, it's outstanding. It made so easy for people, for the businesses, for international business operation, business reporting, planning, facilitating, controlling, name it. So the technological development has played huge role in globalization. Now, while discussing the globalization, the another important concept, or and very much related concept, is international business. In the most layman's language, international business is the business in the cross-border business. It means that international business refers to the firm's performance of trade or investment activity across the nation borders. Now, that is also playing huge role. All these drivers has played huge role in international business. There are certain elements that has played role in the current version of the international business, I would say. Let me share my screen, and that will give you guidance. We'll come to here. See, this is the elements of international business. This is from your Canvas space only, and you have access of this. The first and very much important is globalization of market. I was giving example of iPhone before. I was giving example of T-shirt before. Is globalization of market. You produce something, and then the demand of that product could have worldwide. Now the trouser I'm wearing or a T-shirt I'm wearing, not necessarily it has been produced in Australia. It could be produced in India or Bangladesh or China. Who knows? And it is not that it is possible that the producer of this cloth has not produced targeting Australian customer. It is possible that the producer has produced homogeneous product, It could be sold anywhere, in Bangladesh also, in India also, in China it can be sold, and it can be sold in Australia as well. So the market has been globalized. The second and important element is international trade. As I said that, the trade barriers are, you know, reducing, and world is becoming a global village. You might have heard this. But what exactly it means that, it is very easier now comparatively, that the trade borders, the trade restrictions has been reducing, and the trade barriers has been reducing. So it helps international trade. It encourage international trade, and of course the profitability is there. Thirdly is international investment, as we discussed before, that one of the major driver of international investment. One of my colleague in Melbourne, and he is having, I'm giving you a very layman and very small example of international investment, that one of my colleague in Melbourne is having apartment in London, and he believes that real estate investment in London is more profitable. You can generate a good revenue income from the London-based investment. I don't know, but then he has got investments in London. So the thing is that this is at individual level. No, this was not feasible before, but now it is feasible. No, you might have come across the term FDI, foreign direct investment. Now, government is allowing investments into the different sectors, and that has boosted up that international trade and international business. Then foreign market entry strategy is one of the key element of international business. There are different ways you can enter into the market, international market, and we are going to discuss in detail in somewhere around week 5 or week 6. But yes, it is important element of international business. Next is participant. The major element of international business is your partners in your international business. Suppose you are Australia-based company and you have business in China. You would have some Chinese partner in terms of, you might have joint venture, or you might have even simple supply chain in China. Okay, and when you have international operations, no matter how clever, how effective, how efficient you are, but it is equally important that your trade partner need to be smart. They need to be effective as well in the business operation. Last but not the least is international business risk. Till now, we have discussed very good things and the bright future and prospects of international business. But there are some burning stories as well. There are cases where multinational companies miserably failed in international market. So there are major international business risk, and that risk is also part of international business, an important element of international business. We would discuss in quite detail. Again, this is from your Canvas space only. So there are major 4 types of international business risk. The most important I would like to start with is country risk. For example, the countries like Pakistan, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, Yemen, they are having huge business opportunities, huge potential, because relatively very less production facilities are there. Very less, the country itself is producing very less. One of my colleagues, and who is from Ethiopia, and what she was saying that, whatever you produce in the country, you would be having 100% profit. Even though small plastic bag, if you are producing, there is a huge market, no one is producing, and you can have 100. So look at the opportunity, what we are living in when we have the competition in such, we referred such some products as a homogeneous product which is widely available everywhere, and there is no company has got control over pricing. Okay, such product also having a huge profitability in this country, but then would you like to go for it? There could be, you know, the answer would be the question mark, and the reason could be, that instability of the political system, or inadequate and underdeveloped legal system. Laws and regulations for the foreign firms are not that effective. There is a huge corruption at establishment level or even government level. It is possible. You know, the mismanagement and failure of national economy has been witnessed. So now this all things comes together and it's referred as a country risk. We will be discussing this country risk in detail in somewhere around week 4, and it's an important part of assessment as well. But then, yes, the first important risk of international business. Secondly, cross-cultural risk. The books and books are there of the failed cases because of this cross-cultural risk. In country risk, this is easy to identifiable, visible, analyzable, but then cultural risk is really hard to analyze. We are going to study in week 3 that cultural factors, analyzing cultural factors, but then and we will be discussing cultural risk in detail then. But overall, this cultural risk involves cultural differences, negotiation patterns are different. Something which is very normal for you may not be normal for the other culture. Our decision-making style is different. The factors affecting decision-making process is different, could be different. Ethical practices could be different. This is all risk, which is called cross-cultural risk, and important in international business risk. The third risk is commercial risk. As I was saying, that you might have a business in China, Australia, you have Australian organization, you are an Australian organization, you are having a business in China, and you would be having your business partner. No matter how smart and how effective and how scholar you are in your business, your partner need to be equally smart and efficient to maintain profitable or to sustain profitability in the international market. If you have weak partners, you are turning up the operational problems. You can't determine proper time of entering, proper way of entering, proper product with the entering, and it could be resulted into the poor execution strategy. Cyber risk is also referred as a commercial risk. So this is an equally important risk. I would suggest, I would prefer that, and there is a role of business typicals in the international operation. Due to the commercial risk, they might plan incorrect. The last and most important risk is financial risk, which is currency risk. Now, what happens that if currency devalues, your home country currency of your home country is devalued, without doing anything, your profit will be increased in percentage because you don't calculate inflation in that. But what happens if, like, for example, India is a hub of exporting IT services, and for example, $1 is equal to 50 rupees. Now, what happens if the rupees get stronger? Like instead of 50, it becomes like $1 is equal to 30 rupees. So without doing any debacle or a mistake, company would be, the exporting organization would be registering loss up to 40% because of the currency value determination. So the value of currency plays huge role in determining profitability of international operation. And your cost factor, your revenue, your pricing, everything depends on the currency valuation in international business operation. So it is importantly a very big risk, very considerable risk can be associated with the country risk. We will be discussing in week 6 or 7 with financial risk, but I would like to give you head-ups for the different risks associated with international business. Oh, that's it for the conceptual foundation of globalization for the week 1. I look forward to you meeting you, and all the best. Thank you.